Hi, I'm Aaron Dean, and this is Advocate Today. President Biden is celebrating Juneteenth with a huge concert at the White House. Method Man, Jennifer Hudson, and the Fisk Jubilee Singers, and more. It was a celebration of Black excellence. Juneteenth became a federal holiday in 2021. It marks the end of slavery and that the Civil War had ended 2 months after General Lee surrendered. President Biden says that the holiday acknowledges the origins of slavery and systematic racism in America. Vice President Harris spoke alongside the grandmother of Juneteenth, Opal Bell, about the ongoing fight for liberty and justice for all people.
Because while we celebrate a holiday dedicated to teaching and honoring America's full history, extremists across our country attempt to ban books and erase our past. And on this point, let us be very clear. Black history is American history.
Make yourself a committee of one to change somebody's mind. If people can be taught to hate, they can be taught to love.
I thank you, Ms. Opal Lee, for your years of advocacy, leadership, and truth-telling.
The Juneteenth celebration also paid tribute to Black Music Month. Coleman Domingo, Lettucey, and Audrey McDonald were among the performers. Well, a new report suggests that state legislatures are pushing out voting laws at high rates, some of which are enhancing the right to vote. The new report from the NYU Law School says that at least 13 states enacted 19 expansive laws that make it easier to vote. In contrast, at least 11 states have enacted 13 restrictive voting laws. Examples include curbing access to mail-in voting and implementing stricter photo ID requirements for voter registration or in-person voting. This year already has more new restrictive voting laws than any of the last 10 years. Book bans and restrictions are also on the rise at local libraries and school districts. Most of these book challenges are targeting Black and LGBTQ+ stories. A group called The Color of Change is fighting back. I spoke with Bibby about how they are holding big publishers accountable. When you hear the term book ban, what kind of comes to mind? What is your first initial reaction?
So, what we've been seeing recently with a lot of these book bans across the country is an effort to not just erase history, but also to slowly chip away at the freedoms that people have in this country, particularly starting with, Black history, LGBTQ history. And I think in general, most people are very uncomfortable with book bans holistically, right? So this is a really, it's actually a difficult endeavor for the people trying to ban the books because so many people are not, don't approve of this sort of stuff. But it has gotten some momentum given that people are, the politicians at least leading this are able to stoke a lot of resentment among different groups of people. So I think for most of us in this country, we stand against these book bans. We know that, erasing history is not really what politicians should be trying to do. It's not something that makes our lives better. And that's why we at Color of Change have been leading this campaign to ensure that the states where they are trying to ban Black history, ban gay and transgender history, that we tell them that it's unacceptable and that we won't allow it.
Currently, we are, we're seeing and hearing about nonfiction, fiction books, even textbooks, being attacked and questioned and banned. Where does this fear come from? What is this all about? And why are conversations about facts, when it comes to factual history about slavery and oppression and systematic racism, all those things, why is it driving people crazy?
Well, like I said before, I think that there's the old saying, and I feel like it sounds conspiratorial, but we should be really honest about how politics works, in that people try to divide and conquer. It's often easier for a leader in the community to point the finger at a group of people and say they are the problem, or this is an issue that you need to be worried about, when they can't solve issues that have to do with healthcare or high insurance premiums or, climate change, whatever, real issues that actually will impact our lives. So building resentment among groups of people. I mean, this is something it's something that, as a Black man, I've dealt with my whole life reading about this. This is our history, and same for, the LGBTQ movement, ensuring that people have somebody to blame is one of the easiest ways for politicians to get away with doing surprisingly little.
Color Change has a petition out,
Mhm.
and it's demanding that textbook publishers push back against all of this when it comes to the whitewashing of textbooks. Can you share more about those efforts?
Yeah, so, when these book bans started rolling out, we immediately realize that this is something that we need to stand up against. One of our mandates here at Color of Change isn't just, your typical civil rights issues. We really want to protect the image, the legacy, and the history of Black people in this country. The way in which we are represented, the way in which our children see and view themselves, these are all impacted through books, through media, and it's a major thing that we undertake. So when the book ban started, we decided that we wanted to talk directly to the people who make the books, the book publishers. We've spoken with groups of historians, universities, and we want to get all of these people who are involved in protecting our history, and not just Black and gay and transgender history, history across the country. All of this is U.S. history, and we wanted to get as many of those people locked in arms to ensure that we were speaking up and reasserting our values, even in the face of these authoritarian book bans in places like Florida. So we did put together this petition because I think a lot of times companies they view themselves as above the fray, or they don't want to get involved in partisan issues. But book bans are not partisanship. This is about, again, our history. It's about cultural rights and for these companies, their products are what are being banned. And we've seen now in a lot of the work that we've done, when companies don't stand up for themselves and they think that they can just, let these things move on without impacting their product or the people who work there, they end up potentially like Disney, which is now in a massive fight with the governor. So these companies and corporations need to look at what's going on. They need to understand that this is a very important moment. This isn't partisanship. This isn't normal politics. It's just authoritarian bullying. And in this case, it's targeting Black people, gay and transgender people across the country. And we have to lock in arms as a community and say no more.
We appreciate Kyle for joining us. And if you want to learn more, you can visit colorofchange.org to learn about their fight to end book bans. Well, the Advocate Channel, Equal Pride, and Out Magazine are joining with iHeartMedia and Procter & Gamble for one of the biggest, okay, and I'm gonna say it again, one of the biggest Pride celebrations online. The Advocate Channel is the official streaming partner for Can't Cancel Pride, and it's going into its 4th year. This year's host is JoJo CY, and you can watch Can't Cancel Pride on the Advocate Channel, right on advocatechannel.com, and you can even stream it live on the app. Can't Cancel Pride begins streaming June 15th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. And we hope everyone is having a fun and safe Pride Month. And this month, it's important to take care of yourself and practice self-care. A new study suggests that folks in the LGBTQ+ community are more likely to have mental health and substance abuse problems. That's according to a new report published in the annual National Survey on Drug Use and Health. The report found adults who identify as gay, lesbian, or bisexual are more likely to have serious thoughts of suicide and mental health conditions than those who identify as straight. The community is also more likely to misuse substances like alcohol or drugs. Next year's survey will also aim to identify people who are transgender or non-binary. If you or someone you know is struggling with their mental health, call the new 988 hotline. It provides immediate help and resources for those who need it. Again, the number is 988. And thanks for joining us for this Advocate Today. I'm Aaron Dean, and I'll see you next time.